Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Face the Truth. This is my first solo podcast. Kind of a different thing. There's not going to be a guest this time, but that's okay because I've got a few things I want to share with y'all concerning Wacom, Cintiq giveaways, and the podcast overall, and all that kind of fun stuff. So basically, just want to catch up everybody with what's been going on. As you know, the podcast was put on hold for a couple weeks because my computer, something crazy happened with my computer. I'll explain in a second, but anyways, I had to reschedule my podcast with Cesar Santos and with Andy Signore. I think Cesar's going to be in a couple days, and a lot of you did a lot of awesome, amazing work, so we're going to show that. And there were some drawings that came in and paintings for Andy Signore as well, so hopefully I can get him to reschedule. It might be a little bit, just depends on people's timing and that sort of a thing. So just got to bear with me on that. Basically lately, for me personally, I've been pretty busy with deadlines. I'm pretty excited about a piece I did recently for Pop TV. Pop TV is a Canadian TV company. They did the show Schitt's Creek, which I did a bunch of paintings for a year or two ago now. And they got back to me for a new project. And so there's a show on Pop TV called Hot Date. It's like a comedy, it's a comedy TV show. But they had me do it's really kind of, I wish I could show it now. I'll show it eventually. But they had me do a sort of like a cheesy romantic novel type cover of the two main characters embracing each other and like this kind of cheesy background and everything, and so that's pretty cool. That was a fun job. It's going to be billboards and posters and that sort of a thing, so that was pretty cool. And at the same time I was doing that, Mad Magazine hired me to do 3 full-page paintings for their next issue number 10, which I believe comes out maybe the end of September or October. I'm not quite sure. And that's another one that's really cool, and I can't wait to share it with everybody. It was a lot of work. I had a lot of characters and different people I had to do in a short amount of time. So it was definitely a busy couple weeks. But yeah, and here's the thing about Mad Magazine. I heard that, everyone was talking about Mad Magazine is shutting down. And I don't know all the details, but issue 10 that I just did was supposed to be the last issue for a while. They're going to continue doing other things, but it's the last issue that's going to end up, being sent to like grocery stores, airports, all over the place. And from what I heard is that they're going to be doing, only comic book stores are going to carry them, and subscription only from now on. But I just heard from a buddy of mine, Ed Steckley, that works for Mad, that he heard that there's an issue 11 that's going to come out. So here's the deal. If you love Mad Magazine and you want to support the artists and the writers of Mad Magazine, this historic, magazine for pop culture and everything else, subscribe to it. I don't really know how much that is. I'm just saying, if you want to save it, subscribe to it. And that way you'll continue getting Mad Magazines shipped to your house and everything, and you're supporting the artists, you're supporting pop culture, you're supporting the writers, and overall it's a cool thing. So because I would love to see it continue on personally. So anyways, about my podcast, or not my podcast, my computer. It was really weird. I was working on the deadline for Hot Date, and I worked super late, probably till like 10 o'clock at night or something like that. And oh man, everything was fine, but I was super dead tired, and I was like, I'm gonna get up tomorrow and just start, just trying to finish this up. It might even been one of my Mad pieces. I can't remember. It's all blending together. Anyways, I worked super late, got tired, went to bed. Plan was to wake up in the morning and get to work, and as soon as I come down to my studio, start working, my computer doesn't work. I have no internet, nothing's working. Turns out that somehow Windows just disappeared from my computer. It's just no longer there anymore, and it was this whole thing. It was so stressful because I'm supposed to be working on my deadlines, but instead I'm like on the phone all day, trying to fix everything, because it not only was the internet messed up and my computer was acting weird, but I couldn't paint with it for half the day. Like, it was just not working. So unfortunately, because of that, I had to wipe everything off of my computer. I backed it up first, obviously, but I had to wipe everything off and bring it in and have them do magic, evil voodoo shit to my computer. So anyways, I want to thank a lot of you out there who were helping me, Dwayne Stockton and a bunch of people who were trying to help me figure out my computer. Excuse me. But it's fixed now. Still some things I have to do to get things up and running still, but for the most part it's working, and so that's good. So anyways, just so everyone knows, my next guest on the podcast will be Cesar Santos. Like I said, it's probably going to be in a couple days, and we'll talk about the other stuff later. Right now, it's time for Serious Questions with Jason Seiler. So the question for Jason Seiler, from Jason Seiler today, is, what's the deal with Wacom? What's going on with that? Well, that was a very good question, Jason. Thank you for asking me that. So what is going on with Wacom? Originally, let me explain the original idea of the podcast, in the beginning relationship with Wacom. Was basically, I have a good relationship with them. That's not going to change. I've done lots of demos for them, and they've been really good to me, providing me with equipment and different things, and I've been promoting their products and everything. So I have nothing against them, and everything's good that way. But originally when I had this idea for the podcast, I asked Wacom, if they wanted to be a part of it. I thought it'd be so cool to not have a podcast and then all of a sudden have a podcast and right away I've got a sponsor. I mean, that's pretty badass to have a sponsor right away. So, make it feel a little legit, eventually I'm going to get more sponsors. I'm not worried about that, but that was the idea. And my idea of sponsorship, what I tried to work out with them was, I tried to explain to them what a sponsorship is you guys pay me a certain amount every month, and then in return, I talk about your products every week. I promote your products, whatever's new coming out, anything that you want me to. If you want ads, want me to read ads, whatever it is, you guys listen to podcasts, you know what I'm talking about. So that was the idea. So they said, well, how about this? Instead of doing that, how about we give away a free Cintiq every week, and you can pick whoever wins it. And so I thought, okay, I guess that's a cool idea, because I told them the idea about how I want my fans to do drawings and paintings of the guests, and it'd be kind of a fun thing for the guests, and also the fans get to have their work shown, and it's just a win-win. It's a fun kind of communal type of a thing, online community type thing, and I just think that's a really cool idea. So they thought, well, let's just give away a Cintiq every week. So that was really, really cool, and I'm very grateful for Wacom for doing that. But it wasn't really a sponsorship. So I've never been paid for doing this podcast. It's just basically something I love to do. I love the idea of interviewing artists from all over the world and then presenting them to you, the fan, the listener, people, to basically to try to encourage as many people out there as possible, with, whether it be a painter, a sculptor, an actor, a comedian, a musician, a poet. I'm trying to pay it forward a little bit. Plus I enjoy doing it. It's really fun to be able to talk to amazing artists. It's inspiring. It inspires me. I feel inspired. I feel encouraged. So basically that was the original idea of the sponsorship. And So I got a message from my friend at Wacom saying, hey, just to let you know, unfortunately, the Cintiq giveaway needs to come to an end August 31st. And so I was like, okay. And I asked him, what's going on, and why, why is this happening? Why is this happening? And he basically said that Wacom's analytics people were tracking my podcast from the start, and it has not met their performance metrics. Ooh, that doesn't sting at all, does it? It's as simple as that, basically. And that is why it's important, if you love this podcast, if you support me, support the podcast, or want to, make sure that you like and subscribe to it. It's very simple. It's a very simple thing. You can do it right now. Here's the thing. I tried to explain to my friends at Wacom that the podcast was never about giving away Cintiqs. That's just a cool bonus thing. I just really wanted the support, because I put a lot of work in this. So I figured, you guys pay me a certain amount, I'm going to talk about your product and do a really cool podcast. This is a lot of work. I do a lot of editing, and I got to, it's a lot. It takes a lot. It'd be nice to have some kind of sponsorship. So one day, maybe. We'll see. So anyways, that's the bottom line. That's basically what it is. And I just want to thank Wacom for being so generous, because of Wacom and my podcast, we have donated over 40 Cintiqs to artists all around the world. And that's something that I'm super proud of. I've received so many nice letters from many of you who have won, letting me know how winning the Cintiq changed your life and that it couldn't have come at a better time, and so on. I'm so happy for those of you who have won. That's awesome. But as far as the podcast goes, I've provided over 80 hours of quality content with amazing artists who have shared personal information, techniques, struggles, triumphs, and more. And I'm reading this from something I typed, by the way, just because it's a lot of information. So, but I feel very good and proud of what I've done with the podcast. And, like I said, over 80 hours of content of just interviews with so many awesome people, comedians like Steve Byrne, Jeremiah Watkins, painters like Roberto Prada, Joshua Bean. I mean, it's just on and on and on. There's been so many amazing guests. All my guests have been amazing, every single one of them. And I have a lot more lined up. So you wait, you keep watching, you subscribe, you like. There's going to be a lot of awesome content for everybody out there. And to all of you, including those who didn't win a Cintiq, it's been a real pleasure sharing your work with the world. I've gotten hundreds of encouraging messages letting me know how much the podcast has meant to you. So thank you for that. It really means a lot. It means a lot to hear from you guys about that kind of stuff, And I'm always open to suggestions and different ideas and stuff as well, because I want to make this cool. I want to make this something that artists around the world and even people that aren't artists that are just interested. I want to make it really cool. So any suggestions, just write me at facethetruthpodcast@gmail.com, and I'd be really happy to reply to you about your idea, respond to you. So anyways, I would like to take this time real quick to thank my previous guests for sharing their time and experiences. So a big shout out and thank you to Daniel Arriaga, Steve Brodner, Nasrin Shaky, sorry Nasrin, Robert Ellis, Anthony Kosar, Corey Chisel, Victor Huaz, Russ Maniv, Aaliyah Chapin, Jeremiah Watkins, Anita Kuntz, Wouter Talp, Joe Bloom, Tom Fluharty, Jill Thompson, Grigor Eftimov, Mike Marino, Mike Thompson, Buddy Jackson, Nicholas Uribe, CF Payne, Deborah Feingold, Joel Jimenez, Paul Rustin, Fred Harper, Jacqueline Seiler, Sun Little, Jan Up the Beak, Justin Kaufman, Tim Biedron, Larry Seiler, Tom and Joe from American Caricature, whoop whoop, Steve Byrne, Joshua Bean, Roberto Parada, Hotalil, Iris Compiet, Glenn Ferguson, and JD Witherspoon. And thank you to Cesar Santos and Andy Signor for being my next couple of guests. So that's really cool. So the Wacom sponsorship is finished, but that will not stop me from my vision and dream for this podcast. I will continue to I will continue to have amazing, inspirational artists on every week, and fans of the podcast are welcome to draw or paint the guest if they want, which I will continue to share. But unfortunately, at this time, there will be no more Cintiq giveaways. Wacom and I are still in good terms, and perhaps one day they'll want to be an actual sponsor and supporter of the podcast. That'd be cool. But for now, that's just the way it rolls. And that was Serious Questions with Jason Seiler. Okay, we're back. Thank you, Jason. That was very informative and interesting and a lot of information. So thank you so much for that, Jason. So wrapping this up, what's next is Lightbox Expo, lightboxexpo.com. So I keep getting asked if I will be attending Lightbox Expo, and the answer is yes. And it's next week, the 5th through the 8th in Pasadena, and I will be at table 531, painting and shaking hands. I'll have copies of my book, as well as 25 copies of the Mad Magazine issue number 8 that I painted the cover for. I'll be selling those and signing those, so come by and get them. I only have 25, so they're probably going to go really fast. I will also be on an illustration panel with John Piccaccio. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Camilla Derico and Iris Compiet, which will be hosted by John Hardesty. And that's going to be Friday, September 6th from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. in room 208 at the Conference Center in Pasadena. Also, I'll be doing a portfolio reveal on Sunday, September 8th from 1 o'clock to 2:30 at booth. Well, the booth is to be announced, it says, but it's going to be in the exhibition center. So if you come, bring your portfolios and your questions, and I'd be happy to hang out and talk to you. I will be doing a demo Sunday, September 8th from 3:30 to 4:30 at the Demo Station 2, Conference Center. I will be painting this sketch of Dave Chappelle, full color. So I did the sketch already on my iPad with Procreate. And I'm going to do a full painting for everybody. So I only have 1 hour, so I figured the painting part's a little bit more interesting for people probably. So anyways, remember to check that out, lightbox.com, and check out the amazing artists that will be attending. I'll be bringing my podcast recording equipment in hopes of cornering some awesome artists, see if I can get them alone in my hotel room, a little glass of wine, and a nice chat. It doesn't sound creepy at all. Anyways, I hope to see you there, and good morning, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.